The honey is looking great. This honey is hard. Hey, should we be worried about water getting in the honey? Somebody forgot to turn on the time-lapse cameras. Look at that. Hi, I'm B-Boy Bill, and this is my secret weapon against crystallized honey in a bucket. I'm here today with a bucket of crystallized honey. That thing is heavy. I was fortunate enough last season to get buckets of honey, not just jars, but buckets of honey. And that's a good thing, because that means I can start selling. Now the issue is I put it into these buckets and it all got crystallized. So I had to figure out a way to get it uncrystallized. And I tried a couple different things. I tried doing it in smaller batches, took forever. We have one of those heated floors. So I did try putting it in there for a while to see if the heated floor would heat it up, and that didn't work either. But we're gonna use sous vide to do this bucket. Now what we need is this cooker. This is a sous vide cooker. I got this for my birthday and it works great. Basically holds a large quantity of water at a certain temperature for long periods of time. And that's exactly how I like to do my honey. I like to keep the honey as raw as possible, and for me that means keeping the water bath at 110 degrees. All right, you're gonna need a few things for this one. Obviously the sous vide cooker, your bucket of crystallized honey, and I use this cooler here. So we'll go ahead and put this honey into the cooler. And then we'll go ahead and put our sous vide cooker on. Now, if you're interested in this one, I'll put the link in the comment below. If you use it to purchase this, it helps the channel out, and I appreciate it, guys. My sous vide cooker has a fill line on, and we'll get the cooler filled up to the fill line, and we'll be ready to roll. As you can see, this honey is hard. We'll go ahead and plug our sous vide cooker in. Now when we get this rolling, this sous vide cooker is going to keep this at a nice temperature of 110 degrees for us. We don't have to do much, but you want to make sure that the water doesn't evaporate too much, and you also want to make sure you keep your honey stirred. You guys with buckets of honey, how are you decrystallizing them? Let me know in the comments below. All right, we're ready to go here. We're going to time lapse this, see how long it takes. I'll report back to you guys when we're done. I got some good news and some bad news. The good news is the honey is looking great. The bad news is somebody forgot to turn on the time-lapse camera. But other than that, I am pleased with the honey. Here's something I missed. A couple weeks ago when I did that quick pot video on how to decrystallize the honey, one of the viewers by the name of Jay Arnold wrote me and said, hey, should we be worried about water getting in the honey? And that's a good point, because normally when I do this process for myself at home, I leave it covered up so that it doesn't absorb any of the humidity and none of the dust gets in there. There's no risk of the honey exploding here, so you don't need to leave the lid off of this one, and it does help maintain the temperature. Look at that. Our honey has completely decrystallized. We're going to try and get some of this wax off the top. I do my honey crush and strain, and I completely unfilterize, unpasteurize, keep it as raw as possible, but I will put these wax pieces through a filter and try to get them out of there so that I can get every ounce of honey I have. I'm just using a basic strainer, and I'm going to get the chunks of wax out of here before we put it in our bottling bucket. The cool thing about doing raw honey is that everything floats up to the top that is lighter than the honey, and honey's pretty dense. So you get all the pieces of wax. If you had a random bee leg in there or something that was in the crush and strain, that'll come out too. So you can be pretty sure that everything below the top here is going to be all honey. And when I do my bottling, I use a bucket with a honey gate on it, and all this stuff's on the top of the surface, and I take from the bottom. So that works out great too. All right, now that we got the wax pieces out and stuff, we'll set this aside to strain, and I'll be using it in the kitchen tomorrow. So I don't spill any, and you know, graceful boy Bill, that's what they call me. All right, this is normally the part where I pour my honey into a bottling bucket, but my bottling bucket already has some honey in. So we're just gonna pour it in this bucket so you guys can see what it looks like. Look at that. Good, huh? And we went from a solid bucket to liquid honey ready to be bottled. And there you have it, a whole bucket of decrystallized honey using my secret weapon, the sous vide cooker. I'm not going to leave this sit around very long. I'll be bottling up tomorrow or the next day and get it into jars so I can get it out there where it needs to be. I'm B-Boy Bill, and thanks for watching.